and you gather intelligence on how to fulfill your mission within the time period given. Any questions so far? Seems pretty straightforward. Okay, moving on. So mission planning, there's a bit of subtext that goes along with this. So there's mission planning as a leader and as a follower. As a leader, you have to make sure you establish your chain of command so that you assign your deputies, your time hacks, and what other positions you feel that is paramount to complete your mission. And it is your job to formulate practical solutions to achieve your mission success in the given time that you are given. You have to assert your leadership in this role, but you have to maintain a balance to make sure that you're not overbearing, that you don't take a more dictatorial approach. You kind of make sure that you have an atmosphere that is easy to make suggestions and to troubleshoot plans. You want to make sure that you, like I said, establish a brainstorming atmosphere so you hear from all of your pertinent teammates about what they think and how the mission could be achieved at a more effective rate. And we all know that more than one brain is better to solve any sort of problem. And so you motivate your team to establish that atmosphere, and for your first priority should be always the safety of your team. So that should be number one in any leader's head at all times. You're always looking out for safety. Now, as a follower, anyone have any questions on that?
FTPs, we should all be taking notes right now. Notebooks are required items.
As I was saying, as a follower, you have to respect your leader's chain of command, but make sure you don't take a back seat in the specific exercise that you're doing. So when, according to an LRC or something, you don't want to just be a sheep as a follower. You want to make sure that you're active, you're participating, you're thinking, you're fulfilling the duties that you were assigned by your leader. But if you have an idea, make sure you're heard, because it's not up to your team. It's not up to your team leader to solve all your problems. It's you as a collective. And yes, although the leader is being evaluated at this point, you can always help them in the right direction. So make sure you're an active follower, not a bystander. You also want to make sure that you keep a sense of urgency. It's easy to take a back seat and just mosey your way through, but you want to make sure to keep an active role on time and always be mission-oriented. Any questions so far? Okay. Mission execution is the last objective. As a leader, you want to make sure you effectively communicate your plan. You want to make sure that before anyone steps out onto the field, that they all have their mission in mind, that they know what the mission is, and that they know their role in accomplishing the mission. You want to delegate your tasks. Make sure that you, as a leader, aren't taking the entirety of the mission on your shoulders, and you want to troubleshoot the scenario when it will most likely go awry, because plans don't always go as planned. And you also want to keep in mind that throughout this form, I'll go into the scoring next, but there's only 1 point allocated for mission success. So what that should tell you is that the whole point is not necessarily to succeed in your mission. It's the process of your leadership. It's not necessarily achieving the goal. It's about how you get there. It's about what you do to keep your team in the right direction. So you want to make sure that you work well and you work efficiently. Do we have any questions so far? Those are the 3 main steps, which is mission development, mission planning, and mission execution. Are we all set there? Okay. So then, as we get into the scoring portion of the Lucy form, you see that there are specific standards that you have to fulfill, and the scoring goes USO, which stands for unsatisfactory, satisfactory, and outstanding. Obviously, outstanding is the most points. Satisfactory allocates 1 point, and unsatisfactory is a 0. So I'm going to go through all of these main points and just put out some pros and cons, what you should try to do to max out your points and what you should try to avoid to as to not get the unsatisfactory. Also, just one thing to note here is you want to make sure that you vocalize everything, because